Blueprints acquired. Security was almost non-existent. Too easy.
After 5 years of espionage, Brandon had transmitted the complete Apex-class battleship blueprints to the Carthian consortium.
For this triumph, Brandon, you are awarded the Star of Carthia. Our fleet will be unmatched.
The Terran security was laughable. Almost as if they wanted me to succeed.
Within weeks, the Carthian shipyards began tooling up. 4 orbital docks, 12 keels, the biggest build program in their history.
Every ship we build from those plans should make me proud. Instead, I feel a knot in my stomach.
I want every dock running at maximum capacity. The humans will never know what hit them.
Thousands of engineers bent over the schematics, replicating every component with perfect fidelity.
It's just nerves. I stole the most guarded secret in human military history. Of course I'm paranoid.
Brandon tried to shake the feeling that the whole operation had been too easy. But the thought clung like a splinter he couldn't remove. A month later, Admiral Thorne arrived at the orbital shipyard. His command was absolute: turn the stolen Terran plans into steel and fire.
I want every fabrication bay running triple shifts. No delay. We strike while the humans think they're invincible.
Resources flooded in. Alloy stockpiles built over decades were marked for immediate consumption.
You don't just steal a ship design, you steal a future.
The first Apex-class hull rose from the dock, a steel skeleton identical to the original down to the rivet placement.
I've read the field agent's concerns. He's been in the dark too long. The plans are perfect. Every weld, every conduit.
Every specification checked out to the micron. There was no logical reason to doubt.
The balance of power will shift overnight. 10 fleets before the humans notice.
The docks roared with activity. The skeleton of the first ship cast a shadow against the violet nebula.
Everything is proceeding exactly as planned. Nothing can stop us now.
The day the first ship was completed came faster than expected. They named it Resolute.
Today, Carthia surpasses its rivals. We owe this to Brandon, who delivered the enemy's heart.
The crowd roared. Brandon stood in the place of honor, forcing a smile.
They see a hero. I see the moment my gut screamed and I ignored it.
The Resolute is a flawless copy, down to the shield modulation. Nothing can challenge it.
Flawless. That's the problem. Perfection in engineering is a trap in itself.
Champagne flowed. Dignitaries toasted. No one noticed Brandon's hand trembling.
Launch day is in 1 week. Then the galaxy learns the price of underestimating us.
The Resolute gleamed under the dock lights, a predator waiting.
And yet, I wonder if we've already paid it.
The shakedown cruise began on schedule. All systems read nominal. The Terran design performed beautifully.
Power conduit temperatures are stable, but the fluctuation pattern is odd.
Her diagnostic scans found micro-anomalies in half the conduits. Tiny variations, still within safety margins.
Admiral, I'd like to flag a subtle variance in the power grid. Nothing critical, but it shouldn't be there.
Every new ship has sensor noise, engineer. The design is perfect. Stay focused on the big picture.
It's not noise. The variance is identical across multiple conduits. That's a pattern.
The cruise continued without incident. The ship passed every stress test. The crew celebrated.
The Resolute is ready for active duty. Carthia has its sword.
But Myra kept reviewing the anomaly logs long after her shift ended.
I can't prove anything yet, but I can't unsee it either.
On the 47th day of active duty, the reactor core began an uncontrolled cascade. Emergency cutoffs failed in sequence. The Resolute vaporized, every soul aboard lost.
That can't be right. The diagnostics were perfect.
The Admiralty convened behind closed doors. They had lost their flagship before it fired a shot.
It must be a manufacturing defect. The design is flawless. We will build another.
The shipyards received the order to double quality inspections and begin a second hull.
The Resolute was a perfect replica. How could a simple flaw destroy it?
The official report cited a rare metallurgical fault. The public accepted the tragedy.
We cannot slow down. The enemy might learn of this weakness.
Before the debris field dispersed, The second Apex class was already rising from the docks. The second ship received obsessive attention. Inspectors triple-checked every weld, every conduit.
No failures this time. The Resolute was a fluke. Vengeance will prove our superiority.
The Vengeance flew flawlessly for 46 days. Not a single warning light. On day 47, the structural skeleton failed. She broke apart in seconds. No survivors.
Same day. Different failure. This is a pattern, not a defect. Get me the logs from the first ship, then find Engineer Myra. Now.
Myra was pulled from her midnight shift, the anomaly charts still glowing on her screen.
Your anomalies, Myra. They weren't noise. The ships are dying on a schedule. Find the cause.
She didn't need the order. The pattern she'd seen was now a smoking wreck.
This isn't chance. Something in those blueprints wakes up after 47 days. I'll find its signature.
72 hours later, her workspace was a sea of cross-referenced wreckage data and manufacturing logs.
Every weld analyzed, every conduit trace. The steel was pure. The flaw isn't in the build.
She pulled up the original stolen schematics, scrolling to the first component.
A power coupling tolerance, 2 microns off spec, invisible at scale, and here another.
Page after page. Each variation innocent alone, but always connected to a critical junction.
Individually benign, but if they cascade after 47 days. Admiral, I need a full audit of every blueprint set in production. There's a pattern I can't yet prove.
An audit across 4 shipyards could halt production. Is it truly necessary?
2 ships have vaporized on schedule. If there's a pattern, we're building a graveyard.
Thorne stared at her for a long moment. Then he activated his command pad and signed the audit order. Within days, Myra stood before the High Council. Her holographic display showed the stolen blueprints pockmarked with red markers.
These micron variations appear harmless, but when assembled at full scale, they form cascading failure chains.
How could such a thing be? The Terran design was authenticated years ago.
We checked every authentication mark. The plans are genuine. That is what frightens me.
Admiral Thorne paced the chamber, his face a mask of controlled fury. The cost of stopping now was unthinkable.
If we build another ship under maximum scrutiny, will it fail on day 47?
I cannot guarantee survival, but we must test the theory.
Then do it. Build a third ship. Put every resource behind the inspection. If it fails, we have our answer.
The Council voted. Construction of the third Apex class, Invictus, began within the hour.
If this one blows, the blueprints are poison, and we've already spread it.
The Invictus received quadruple inspections. Every plate was audited, every circuit tested. No variation was accepted.
This ship cannot fail. If it does, our entire strategy is compromised.
She launched without ceremony. The crew watched every readout like a heartbeat. On day 47, a containment field flickered. Then the ship tore itself apart from the inside.
Third ship, third different failure mode, always on day 47. This is deliberate. Admiral, these blueprints are a weapon. They were designed to kill whoever builds them.
Get me a full inventory of every ship under construction now.
Within the hour, the tally arrived. 12 ships building, 47% of Carthian industry already committed.
We're not building a fleet. We're building our own funeral pyres.
The realization spread through the command like a cold wind, and there was nothing they could do. Admiral Thorne flew to the capital that same night. The Chancellor had to know the truth. In Vec's private office, Thorne laid out the inventory. 12 ships, 47% of total industrial output.
If we stop now, the supply chain collapses. Thousands of firms bankrupt. The economy shatters. But if we continue, we launch ticking bombs. There is no good option.
Can the engineering corps find a countermeasure?
Myra says the flaws are too woven into the design. Reverse engineering might take years.
Vec stared at the numbers, his political career flashing before him.
Then we keep building, but Absolute secrecy. No one can know our ships are already dead.
The order went out: accelerate construction, double security, find a fix at all costs. But the shipyards kept producing.
The humans will never learn. That is the only comfort we have left.
For weeks, Myra's team had mapped every flaw, believing a fix was possible. Today, the data told a different story.
Each micro-imperfection connects to a critical node. A trillion-dollar virus woven into the steel. Admiral, we've identified over 43,000 individual flaws. They form a cascading loop.
And you're telling me none of them can be corrected without triggering a new failure?
It's a closed system. Every fix introduces a new fatal cascade. The design is a maze with no exit.
Her final report was one line: the blueprints are a delayed action self-destruct weapon that cannot be neutralized.
The only safe course is to halt production completely and dismantle the hulls we have.
47% of our industrial output already locked into walking coffins.
The mind that designed this wasn't protecting a secret. It was setting a trap for anyone arrogant enough to steal it.
The room fell silent, the hum of the lab suddenly deafening. They were sitting on a 1,000-year catastrophe. 3 days later, the council chamber filled with reporters. Brandon stood at the center, bewildered.
The sabotage of our fleet is due to a critical intelligence failure. Brandon's operation was compromised.
Compromised? I verified every line of those plans myself. There were no signs of tampering.
The Star of Carthia was torn from his uniform before the cameras.
They need a villain to survive this. I was the easiest one to sacrifice.
From this day, Brandon is stripped of all rank and title. He has failed Carthia.
He was escorted to a holding cell beneath the Capitol.
I was so proud of that star. Now it's just another tool of their lie.
In the silence, a truth colder than the walls settled over him. The humans had planned even this.
They didn't just steal a design. They stole my entire life.
While Brandon rotted in his cell, the engineering corps refused to surrender. They tried patching the smallest flaw in a derelict power core.
Compensate for the micron drift and... no. The power junction cascades into a new failure mode. Admiral, we've tried 200 fixes. Each one creates a worse failure somewhere else. It's a self-repairing trap.
So the only way to sail a ship safely is to build without these blueprints entirely.
And that requires starting from scratch, melting down the hulls we have, years of work, and 1 trillion credits wasted.
47% of our industrial output. We can't afford to stop, and we can't afford to continue.
By nightfall, a secret council convened on the Chancellor's command.
We continue production, but the ships will be mothballed, uncrewed, held in reserve until a solution is found.
60 ships in orbit, each a sealed tomb counting down. But admitting the truth would destroy us faster.
The shipyards never stopped. The fleet continued to grow, hanging over Carthia like a poisoned garden. Month after month, the docks spat out Apex-class hulls, each identical to the last, each sealed and left to drift.
The fleet is now at 40 ships, 40 tombs waiting for the 47th day.
The crews who built them whispered of curses. Those who knew the truth kept their mouths shut, eyes hollow.
I've started dreaming of the detonations. In my sleep, I count down from 47.
The mothballed fleet hung in high orbit, a constellation of doom. Through telescopes, civilians saw warships that never moved.
60 ships now. The countdowns are staggered, but all will trigger within 5 years. We're sitting on a chain reaction.
No solution, no countermeasure. Only the slow, silent approach of a preordained catastrophe.
How long until someone talks? Until a maintenance worker sees the stress fracture patterns.
The military police tightened patrols, but fear leaked out like radiation.
60 ships. 47 days. The math was a death sentence Carthia had written for itself.
Chancellor Vec convened the High Council in the deepest bunker beneath the Capitol. No press, no recordings.
Here is the cascade map. If any ship detonates within 10,000 kilometers of another, it triggers a chain.
So no crew can ever board them, and if we keep them together, they'll create a supernova if one goes.
The only mitigation is physical separation. Spread the fleet across the system, far beyond the blast radius.
It's a death dispersal. We're admitting we can't even control our own fleet.
Do it. Every ship gets a new orbital assignment. No two ships within 10,000 kilometers of each other.
Within the hour, navigation computers across 60 ships received the new flight plans.
We've just scattered 60 uncontrollable bombs across our home system. The irony is unbearable.
A naval commander who can't command his ships. I should have been a farmer.
And so the fleet dispersed, a constellation of lonely, doomed ships waiting for the clock to run out. In the darkest hours of his imprisonment, Brandon unearthed a hidden communicator from a seam in his cell wall.
I need a countermeasure for the Apex-class virus. Name your price. I'll pay anything.
The shadowy figure on the other end laughed, a sound like scraping rust. He rasped. "There is no fix, spy. The only move was to never steal the plans. You were a carrier from the start."
The same verdict Myra gave. The trap is perfect. There was never a way out.
The communicator slipped from his fingers and clattered on the stone floor.
I spent 5 years stealing a weapon designed to kill whoever held it. I was just the delivery boy.
That was the moment he stopped believing in redemption.
They never protected their secrets. They weaponized the act of stealing them. And I was the perfect fool.
He curled into the corner and waited for whatever final humiliation the universe still had for him. 300,000 kilometers above the Carthian homeworld, a Terran surveillance drone glided silently. It had watched for years, waiting for this exact moment.
There, Ship 43 just hit day 47. Containment failure, exactly as the simulation predicted.
On the display, a Carthian battleship silently ruptured into a golden-orange fireball, the drone's sensors painting the blast in crisp detail.
They still don't understand. The blueprint wasn't a prize, it was the weapon, and they begged us to let them steal it.
The drone had recorded the entire 5-year operation, from the first schematic exfiltrated to the last bolt tightened in the Carthian yards.
43,000 microscopic flaws, each one inert until the 47th day, a cascade loop that can't be broken.
She replayed the footage, watching the cascade start in the power conduits exactly as the blueprint virus predicted.
We didn't protect our secrets, Lieutenant. We weaponized the act of stealing them. This is the only lesson they'll ever understand.
Far below, the first of the scattered Carthian fleet had already become a brief, bright star in their home system. And deep within the other 59 ships, the invisible clockwork of the virus continued its unstoppable count. In her sterile office, Director Chen opened the final operational report on the Apex-class deception.
The Carthian Consortium has committed 47% of its industrial base to constructing Apex-class warships, all confirmed infected. The virus cascade is self-sustaining. No countermeasure exists. Estimated total fleet loss within 5 years.
She closed the file and looked up at her waiting staff, the silence heavy with the weight of what had just been read.
The Carthians spent a decade trying to steal our capital ship designs. We spent the same decade planting the one we wanted them to steal.
The blueprint virus was the pinnacle of asymmetric warfare. No soldiers deployed, no ships risked, only a false gift delivered into the enemy's hands.
Ensure this footage is distributed to every Galactic Council embassy. Let them see what happens when they try to out-engineer humanity.
Behind her, the galactic map shifted. New crimson warning markers blinked into existence around Carthian space.
We don't protect secrets. We weaponize the thief. That is the only lesson the galaxy will ever truly learn.
And across the stars, the Carthian fleet drifted, each ship a monument to the cost of arrogance. Then, like a disease reaching its crisis, the first ship's reactor core flickered and went supercritical. Before the light faded, 3 more across the system followed, each one a delayed action bomb reaching its 0 hour. Carthian command centers lit up with alerts. They had prepared for this, but nothing prepared them for the scale. The explosions didn't stop. The virus ignited fuel lines, overloaded reactors, tore hulls apart in blue-white fury. A dozen new stars briefly bloomed across the system. The scattered fleet became a constellation of death. No crew had been aboard, Vex orders saved lives, but the pride of the consortium vanished into expanding debris. By the end, 47 of the 60 infected ships had self-destructed within a single hour. The rest would follow within days. The Carthian navy had ceased to exist. All that remained was a field of molten slag and broken dreams. The Terran drone recorded every fireball with the clinical precision of a coroner. And across the system, the debris fields spread, a silent testament to the price of arrogance. As the last explosions faded, Admiral Thorne stood at the observation deck, staring into the graveyard that had been his navy.
60 ships, a lifetime of service. All of it gone in an hour. I built nothing but a monument to our hubris.
Engineer Myra stripped off her badge and left it on the control room floor. She didn't look back.
I spent years trying to save them, but the virus was perfect. The only victory was to never play.
Chancellor Vec appeared before the press one last time. His voice cracked as he read his resignation.
The responsibility is mine. I led Carthia into a trap none of us could see. History will not forgive me.
From the asteroid where he had been exiled, Brandon watched the distant flashes. The tears were silent and final.
They wanted me to steal it. They made it easy. I was never a spy. I was a delivery boy.
A Terran reconnaissance drone glided silently through the debris field, its recording complete. The lesson had been delivered, not by war, but by a gift wrapped in ambition and arrogance. In the Terran Council chamber, Director Chen played the drone footage for the assembled leaders. The room was silent, then erupted in applause.
Operation Trojan Hull is complete. The Carthian consortium has lost its entire naval expansion force without a single human casualty.
The council members exchanged glances. Some looked awed, others sobered by the scale of the deception.
Let this be known across every border. Any empire that steals human military designs will receive exactly what they deserve.
A cold smile crossed her lips as she tapped the holographic display, sending fresh warning markers across the galactic map.
The virus is not just a weapon, it's a statement. We will not protect our secrets. We will let you steal them and watch you destroy yourself.
The map behind her shifted, new caution symbols appearing near every major border. A reputation was forged in the fire of collapsing ships.
From this day, the galaxy knows when you steal from humanity, you don't take a treasure, you take a bomb.
The council rose in a standing ovation. The lesson was learned, and it had cost them nothing. And in the cold vacuum of the Carthian system, the debris of the fleet cooled, a permanent monument to the trap that had no master. The Carthian system had become a museum of the dead. 60 broken hulls drifted in icy silence. A Terran drone passed through the wreckage, its sensors recording the final proof of the operation's success. On a barren asteroid, exiled and forgotten, Brandon sat watching the destruction on a portable display, his only connection to a world that had abandoned him. His face, hollow and tear-streaked, reflected the light of the fading explosions that had once been his nation's pride.
They didn't protect their secrets. They let us steal them. And in stealing, we destroyed ourselves.
The drone passed him by, a silent witness, and continued into the endless dark. The debris field slowly dispersed, a permanent scar in the system, visible from the Carthian homeworld for generations to come. Humans don't protect their secrets. They let you steal them, and in stealing, you destroy yourself. The screen faded to black.